In this video, we are going to build this clean and modern portfolio website with smooth animations using React, Tailwind, and Framer Motion. This portfolio has everything you need to showcase yourself as a developer. You can display your skills, projects, social media links, experiences, and even things like your tools, certificates, and achievements. It's also highly customizable, so you can add new cards or customize the existing ones however you like. It's fully responsive, features beautiful glowing card effects, and includes smooth hover animations that make it look super cool. I will explain every single line of code step by step, and to make it even easier for you, I will provide a starter code so you can jump right in and follow along without wasting time on setup. By the end of this video, you will have a fully functional and great looking portfolio website. So let's get into it. This is the starter code that we will be using. You can find the link in the description and download this. Let's take a look at what's inside. So this is a React project with Tailwind inside, created using Vite. Inside the public folder, we have a profile image. Of course, you can change this with your own. We have some videos for projects. You can change this with images of your projects if you like to. Inside the source folder, we have this data.jsx file that has all the information inside. We are going to fill the portfolio with the informations that we are going to extract from this file. We have the informations inside arrays and objects, such as personal info, number of projects, social media links, experiences, tools, achievements, goals, and so on. Having these information inside this separate file makes it easier to customize it later. So once we're done creating the project, you can come back to this and change all of these with your own information. Inside the app.jsx, it's practically empty. We have this background and a heading text. Inside index.css, we have some predefined Tailwind classes to make it easier for us to create the UI. Here we have a predefined class named card. For all the cards that we are going to create, it has some padding, a gradient, rounded corners, hover effects, and so on. We have section titles, glow effects, gradient buttons, hover animations, and so on. Inside the index.html, I have changed the title to portfolio website. You can customize this if you like to. We also have some additional packages inside, such as Lucid React. We are going to use this for SVG icons. We also have Framer Motion for animations. And this is all we have. Now we can start to create the project. I have also opened the final version here, so I can point out the things and show you what we are building. Let's start with the imports. We are going to import useEffect and useState from React. We will be using useEffect to create this live clock. And we will use useState to keep track of whether this component is mounted or not. And when it's mounted, we are going to trigger this reveal animation. Next, we will import motion from Framer Motion to create the reveal animation. And let's import some icons from Lucid React. You're gonna need a clock, a trophy, a user icon, a briefcase icon, external link icon, and a mail. Let's import it from Lucid React. Next, we're gonna import all the information that we are going to need from this data.jsx. Let's import the personal info, projects, social links, experiences and tools, goals and achievements, skills and certificates, and the animated blobs for the background. And there is a little typo here. This should be external link. And finally, import the profile image. And that is all the imports. We have the hooks that we need, motion from Framer Motion to create the reveal animation, some icons, and all the information from data.jsx. Let's start by using the useState and useEffect to create the logic for live clock. Gonna need a state named time and its setter function setTime. This is going to be equal to useState with a initial state of empty string, and the second one is going to be mounted setMounted. This is nothing to do with the live clock. As I said earlier, we are going to use this one to keep track of whether this component is mounted or not, so we can trigger the animation. Let's create a effect. So we want this effect to run as soon as the component is mounted. To do that, we need to pass a empty dependency array. This means run this effect as soon as the page is loaded. Inside the effect, we are going to set mounted to true. We're gonna get the new date, and we're gonna get the local time as a string. This is why we have the time variable as a string, because this method turns the time as a string. Next, we need to be able to constantly update the time every second. To do that, we are going to create a timer with an interval, and this function is going to run every 1 second so that the time is properly updated. We are going to call setTime again, and every 1 second we are going to get the new time which will be updated. So this will be running every 1 second. Now we can clean up the interval and pass the timer itself. So we have the effect ready. As soon as this app component is mounted, we set mounted to true, indicating that the app is ready. Then we get the current date and create an interval that updates the current date every 1 second, and we return it. Next, we are going to create two variables using framer motion. We're going to have two animations, one for the container and one for its children elements. The reason why we are going to create components, because we are going to be applying the same type of animation to lots of cards. And if we don't create variables, that means we need to type the same thing over and over again for each card. So instead, we are just going to create a variant for that. The animation is going to start hidden, so the container is not going to be visible at first. Opacity 0. And when the animation happens, we are going to set the opacity to 1, making it visible. And we're going to define some transition values. So because this is going to be for the container, we can also define some animation for its children elements inside, such as stagger children. So this is basically going to make the cards inside have the animation with a little delay. So the cards are going to appear one after another instead of all at once. Let's define a ease curve, ease out. This is going to make it look smooth, and define a duration which is going to be 0.7. And let's create one for the items inside. So this was for the container. Now we are going to create another one for the cards itself. Using the same logic, they will be hidden at first with opacity 0. We are also going to move the cards to the bottom by 40 pixels on the y-axis. So when the animation happens, they are going to be visible again. And we are going to bring them back to their default position by setting y to 0 again. So the cards are going to come from bottom to the top. Let's use a transition, use a duration of 0.6, and we are going to use a different ease curve, which is going to be these custom numbers. So to understand how this works, let's take a look at the final version. The cards are inside a container, and the container has this animation, which makes the entire container go from hidden to visible. And if I refresh, and as you can see, the cards are coming one after another. This is why we use stagger children. Also, they come from bottom to the top. That's the reason why we used y40, then to 0. You can easily customize this if you like to. You can set the duration to a longer time so the animation happens longer, or you can decrease the duration to make it faster. So now that we have everything we need, we can start to create the UI itself. Let's get rid of this H1. We are going to use this container so we can keep it. First, we are going to create the background animation, which is basically made out of these blobs that we have inside data.jsx. These are basically circles that are going to move around inside the background, creating a cool little animation. These are all circles. All the circles have different gradient colors, and using framer motion, we constantly move them from side to side and make them bigger and smaller. Each of them have different durations, so they don't move at the same time. So we have already imported this animated blobs at the top. To display them, we are going to map over this array of blobs. And for each blob, we are going to display a motion div. Let's also provide a key. Let's use curly braces and backticks. They are going to be positioned absolute, rounded full, and using $ and curly braces, you're gonna get the classes from blob.class name. So the class name property has these Tailwind classes. We basically put all of them inside here in a dynamic way. Let's also get the animation and durations. So on animate, we are going to pass blob.animate. Let's set the transition values as well. Duration is going to be blob.duration. Ease will be ease in out. This is going to repeat infinitely, so repeat infinity. And repeat type is going to be mirror. This is basically going to bring them back and forth. And this is how it looks like. Next, we are going to create the main container, which is also going to have the motion attribute. Now we are going to put this container animation that we created. Let's pass it as variants and pass the container variants. Initially, this will be hidden. Let's set the animate values. When this component is mounted, then we are going to show it, or it is going to be hidden. Let's pass the main grid. So this is one of the predefined Tailwind classes that I've created. If you click on this by pressing Alt at the same time, it is going to bring you to index.css and you can see the classes. This is a grid with one column at the smaller screen, and after the median breakpoint, it has two columns with a gap of 4, and it automatically creates as many rows as it needs. It also has a maximum width of 4x large. Inside, we can start by creating our first card, which is also going to be a motion div. This time, as variants, we are going to pass item variants and use the card class name with a card scene class, which basically contains this border effect. So after the median breakpoint, this card is going to take one column of space and it's going to take 3 rows. So rows span 3. Let's make it a flex container with flex direction of column and use justify center with a gap of 3. Inside, we are going to put the profile picture. Let's set a width of 70 pixels and a height of 70 pixels. Fully rounded corners, so make it a circle and make it cover its container. Right under this image, we're gonna have a h2 that displays the name. So let's get personal info.name to display the name. And on top of this, we're gonna have a icon, which is going to be the user icon. This is going to be a self-closing tag. Let's put a size 22 and make it violet 400. On the h2, we can use this predefined class named section title, which basically has a text of white, font semi-bold, and flex item center to center the icon and text. Right under this h2, gonna create a paragraph that displays the bio. So personal info.bio. We can make this a slate text with a small and leading relaxed. Leading relaxed is going to create some space between the lines to make it easier to read. And this is how it looks like. On hover, it creates this beautiful glowing border. So this was the first card. Next, we are going to create the projects card and it will be right next to this one. Let's create another motion div and pass the item variants again. I'm gonna use the card class. We are going to be using this card class on every card with a different color. This time, we're gonna use card violet. After the median breakpoint, it's going to take one column of space and it's going to take 4 rows, which is a bit more than the first one. Make it a flex container with flex direction of column with a gap of 4. Inside, let's have this h2 with section title and a icon with a size of 20. Let's make it violet. Inside a span, we're gonna have this text. So as you can see, because we have a grid with 2 columns, we have these cards next to each other. Because we defined row span 4, this one is 1 row longer. Right under this h2, gonna create a grid. We are going to use this to display the projects inside. In this case, we have 6 projects that we can display. So we can create a grid with columns of 1 at the smallest screen, and after the median breakpoints, we can make it 2 with a gap of 3. We are going to define a custom scroll bar. So scroll bar thin. The thumb is going to be white with 10% opacity, and we also going to make the track transparent. Inside, we are going to get the projects array and map over them. For every project, we're going to create a motion div, provide the key. Let's position it relatively and give it the group class so we can create a group hover effect, rounded corners, hide the overflow because we are going to have some videos inside this div with full. Use the aspect video class. This is basically going to keep the ratio of this box as 16:9 and use cursor pointer indicating that this is something clickable. Inside the div, let's display the video. Use curly braces and backticks. So inside the public folder, as you can see, these videos are named project with 1, project with 2, 3, 4, and so on. So to get them dynamically, we can use this project with the index number .mp4. To be able to make the videos play, you're gonna need these properties: muted, loop, autoplay, and place inline. Let's also make it with 100%, with height 100%, and make it cover its box. And as you can see, the videos are playing. So to create a hover effect, we are going to create a overlay that is going to be positioned absolute, inset 0. So left, right, top and bottom are going to be 0. It's going to cover the entirety of this video. Let's set the background to black 40%, opacity 0. On group hover, we are going to bring it to 100%. Let's use transition opacity to make it smooth with a duration of 300. Make it a flex container to center the items inside. Inside, we are just going to have this button that says open project and use the external link icon with a size of 14. And on the button, we are going to use the gradient button. Let's click on it and see. We have defined some background gradients, hover effects, and shadows. Now, if I hover over the project cards, you can see the button. Looks super cool. Next, we are going to create the card that is going to display the live clock. So under this div, create another motion div, pass the same variants, use the card class. This time, we're going to make this one blue. It's going to take a row span of 2, make it a flex container with flex direction of column, center the items vertically, and we're going to bring them to the left using items start, gap 3, and hide the overflow. Inside this card, create a H2 with a span inside that says my local time. And inside these brackets, we can display the location. Let's use section title and a clock icon. Give it a size of 20 and text of CN 400. Under this H2, I'm going to create a paragraph that displays the live time. Let's make it a lot bigger with font bold, checking tight. This is going to bring the letters together. Create a background gradient to right from white to violet to CN 200. I'm going to clip the text to the background. There's a little typo. This should be via. Let's make the text transparent so we can see the background colors and position it relatively. So looks like there's a little mistake. Instead of time, we are displaying the date. Let's turn this to local time string. And now, as you can see, we have the live time. Every second it gets updated by this use effect. Let's create the next card, which is going to be the contact card. Pass the variants, use the card class. This time, I'm gonna make this one green with a row span of 2. Make it a flex container with flex direction of column. Center the items vertically and hide the overflow. Create a H2 with a span that says contact and a mail icon with a size of 20. Let's make the text green 400. Turn the icon to a green color. Under the H2, gonna create a div. Let's make it slate 300 and use flex direction column with a gap of 4. Gonna have a paragraph and a link that basically leads the user to your email. Inside the paragraph, you're gonna have this text. Make it small, slate 400, and leading relaxed. So inside the href, gonna use curly braces and using the mail2 from HTML, we are going to lead the user to your email. Let's get the email from personal info. Inside, we're gonna say send mail. Let's set the width to 100% with background green 500, 10%. Give it a border and make the border green 500, 20%. So on hover, gonna make it bright and make the text green 400. On hover, it is going to be white. Set the font to medium, padding Y2 with rounded corners. Center the text and use transition to make it smooth. Let's use section title on the H2 and let's see. There you go. Looks really cool. Let's also refresh the page to see if the reveal animation is working fine, and looks like it's working good. Let's create the next card, which is going to display the social links. Let's pass the variants once more. Use the card class. This time, gonna make it violet. After the medium breakpoint, it's going to take 1 column of space and 3 rows. Flex column, justify center with a gap of 4. Inside the H2, gonna say social links. Let's use section title and a user icon with a size of 20. Text violet. Under this H2, gonna create a unordered list with a space Y3. This is basically going to create space between the elements inside, which are going to be the social links that we're gonna get from this array, and we're gonna map over them. For every single social link, you're gonna create a list element, which is going to be a motion list. Let's provide the key. Gonna create a little animation using framer motion. So on hover, gonna move it to the right by 4, and while clicking on it, we are going to make it just a little bit bigger. Inside these links, gonna put some anchor tags and pass your links using target blank. When you click on this link, it is going to open on a new tab inside your browser. Also, we are going to set the colors of these links dynamically. So let's use curly braces and use the group class to create a group hover effect. Flex item center, make the text slate 400, and we're gonna get the colors dynamically from social.color. If I click on this, so inside this array, we have different colors for each link. We have the icons as well. All you need to do is to replace these links with your actual links. So inside the anchor tag, I'm gonna create a span with the icon inside. So social.icon, let's set the size to 18. Gonna give it a padding of 2, rounded corners. Background is going to be white 5%. On group hover, gonna increase it to 10. Let's use a transition to make it smooth. We also going to make it bigger on group hover, so scale 110. So as you can see, when I hover over the icons, the colors are changing. Under this span, gonna create another one that displays the name of the link. Let's position it relatively and set the font to medium. Under this name, gonna create another span to create a underline effect. Let's position it absolute. Left 0, gonna move it to the bottom by 1, and width 0, height only 2 pixels. Gonna create a gradient to right from violet 500 to cyan 500 with a transition of 300. On group hover, we are going to make this 100% width, and this is how it looks like. Let's put some gap between the icon and the text as well. Let's use gap 3, and that is it. Let's create the next card. This is the card that is going to display the experiences, pass the item variants, use the card class and a color. After the median breakpoint, let's make it have 1 column with a span of 4. Make it a flex container with flex direction of column. Gonna have a header with the text experience. Use section title and use this icon with a size 20 and make it blue. Under this H2, create a unordered list with a space of Y3, padding X3. Make the text inside small, and we're gonna set the overflow Y to auto, so when the screen is smaller, you can scroll down inside this div, and we are going to hide the overflow X, so you're gonna be able to only scroll down up and bottom, not side to side. Inside the list, let's map over the experiences array, and for every job, gonna create a list item with a key of index. Let's use the soft card class with a group. Inside a span, gonna display the job title and the company. Let's make it white, font medium, and display the job period. Make it small with a text slate 500, margin top 1, and inside a paragraph, display job description, margin top 2, text slate 400 with leading relaxed. Let's use flex item center with a gap of 2 here, and there you go. As you can see, we have a scroll bar on the right that you can basically scroll down inside the experiences, and it looks super cool. Now we can create the next card, which is favorite tools. Pass the item variants, use card. Let's make this green. It's going to take a row span of 3, flex column, justify center with a gap of 3, and use the group class again. Inside the H2, gonna say favorite tools. Let's use section title and a briefcase icon with a size of 20. Let's also make it green. Under the H2, create a unordered list with space Y2, make the text small, and map over the tools array. And we're gonna create a motion list elements for every single tool. While hovering, we are going to move them to the right. Let's use flex item center with a gap of 2 and use the group class again. Inside, we're gonna display the tool name, and inside a span, we are going to display a bullet next to it, make it green, and on group hover, we are going to make it bright. Let's see. There you go. And this is how it looks like. Let's create the next card, which is going to display the goals. Pass the item variants, use card with card green, and a row span of 2, flex column, justify center with a group. Inside the H2, gonna say goals, and display a trophy icon with a size of 20, and make it green. Use section title on the H2. Under H2, gonna create a unordered list. Make the text slate 400 with text small and space Y2. Let's map over the goals array, and for every goal, display a list item. Make it a flex container. Flex item start, gap 2. Gonna display the goal itself and a bullet again. Margin top 1. Let's make it green 400 with 50% opacity. And on group hover, gonna make it bright. Let's see. And there you go. The next one is the achievements card. Pass the variants. Use the card name. with a yellow this time. It's going to take 3 rows, and after the small breakpoint, it's going to take 4. Flex column, gap of 4. Let's say achievements and metrics. Use a trophy icon, make it bigger, and let's make it yellow. Use section title. So under this, H2 gonna create a grid this time. On the smaller screens, it's going to have only 1 column, and after the small breakpoint, it's going to have 2 columns with a gap of 3, text small, and slate. Inside, we are going to map over the achievements array, and for every achievement, we are going to display a motion div, and while hovering, we are going to make it just a little bit bigger, 1.03. Gonna use the stats box class name. It basically has some padding, rounded corners, and some transition values. Inside a span, we are going to display the achievement, and depending on what it is, we are going to dynamically change the colors. So curly braces with backticks. Set the font to bold and make it bigger. Using $sign and curly braces, gonna get the achievement color. If it's yellow, then we can display it as text yellow 400. If it's cyan, then we can display a cyan text. If it's pink, we can display it as pink. Otherwise, we can display it as violet. Under the span, gonna have a H3 that displays the achievement's name. Let's put some space at the top, margin top 1, font medium with a text white, 90%. And inside a paragraph, we are going to display the description of the achievement. Margin top 1, text slate 400, make it small, and leading snug, which creates some space between the lines. And there you go. This is how it looks like. Let's see. And there you go. This is how it looks like. The next card is going to display the skills. Let's use the card class. Make it blue this time. Using a row span of 5, flex column, and hides the overflow. Let's say skills, and use the user icon. Make it bigger, and use text cyan. Create a unordered list with space Y4, text small, and slate. We're gonna use overflow Y auto again so that we can scroll inside the card. And we're gonna set a maximum width, which is 450 pixels. Map over the skills array. For every skill, gonna create a list item, provide the key, and let's create some space inside the list element. Gonna create a span that displays the group category. Set the font to medium, text white 90%. So under each group, we are going to create another unordered list with margin left 4, space Y1, and map over the skills again. And for every skill, we are going to display list elements, provide a key, use the hover item with margin top 1, and inside display the skill. And this is how it looks like. Let's also use section title here, and this is how it looks like. And the final card is going to be certificates. Use the card class. This time, let's make this one orange with a row span of 2. Use flex column with a gap of 3. Hides the overflow. Use the group class. Inside a span, let's say certificates. Use the section title and display a trophy with a size of 20. Make it amber 400. Inside a unordered list with a space of Y2, text small, and slate 400. Map over the certificates. Create a list element for each. Make it a flex container with item center, gap 2, display the certificate name, and create a bullet with amber background color, and on group hover, going to make it lighter. Let's see. And this is how it looks like. And that is it. So comparing it to the final version, looks like we just forget to display some text inside here. So right here, inside the achievements card, inside this H3, instead of achievement's name, we should display achievement title. And there you go. Finally, let's check the responsiveness. Everything looks like in the right place. As you can see, we can scroll down inside the cards. Nothing seems to be broken. Let's see if the reveal animation is working fine. There we go. So this is how we can create this modern portfolio website using React, Tailwind, and Framer Motion. I hope you guys find it helpful and enjoyed it. In my channel, I've got a lot of portfolio videos. You can check them out in the description. Thank you for your time and see you in the next video.